Hey friends, and welcome to another episode of the Hey New Friends podcast. We are super excited because today we are in the lovely city of
Los Angeles. We're still celebrating my birthday.
You did not have to throw that part in the story.
Well, it's still... my birthday. Right. February isn't over. I mean, it's no longer Aquarius season, but it's still February, so it's my birthday.
Okay, so as she said, we're still celebrating her birthday, but I'm just so elated because we got the opportunity to catch up with some old friends, some old family while we're out here, and today we're actually going to share one of our friends with you.
Yes, one of my cousins, one of the persons like I went skating with literally every single weekend. Spent the night at her house growing up. So, you know, someone who is really near and dear to my heart. Yeah. And I'm really excited to have seen her. It's been years since the last time I saw her. So this is a really special episode for me.
Yeah, and I'm just looking forward to the conversation because even outside of her being that person that you know her as, I also know her as a business partner and an entrepreneur and the media personality who is super, super vibrant. So I'm just excited to see what life in LA has been like, you know?
Yeah, right?
So without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop into this episode.
Hey.
Hey, y'all. Hey, and welcome to our podcast.
Thank you guys for having me.
I'm really excited to talk to you because, you know, we supposed to get together for a minute to start talking about things and working on stuff. And we in year what now? And we ain't did nothing?
2020, no need.
This is 2017.
Oh, it's 2021.
It's right. We are just...
It don't matter. We here now, so
I'm glad.
Thank you for having a seat at our table couch today.
Yes, I'm glad to be on the Hey New Friends podcast, even though I'm not a new friend, but I'm new to y'all.
So how have you been? How has LA been treating you?
I've been well, guys. I've been blessed. I feel like LA's different.
Different like what? I love LA.
So this is why this is why we here because she loves LA. So this is my first time out here. Okay, so I ain't never been here, but Nisha swear by it.
Listen, for me, it's like I'm used to a lot of good food and like culture. Like with my city, even my little small town where I'm from, a lot of culture, good food, good vibes, ratchet turn-ups. Miami, same thing, bigger scale.
I don't like Miami. Side note, sorry.
Oh, I like Miami.
Go ahead.
Okay. We're going to talk about that later. Here is different for me. I hate the fact that the food just really ain't good here. I'm just going to say it. I know everybody.
So you are foodie.
We all love some good food.
Me too. No, it's interesting because this whole trip, like, I've been like, oh, food. This one over here.
If I did not have to eat, I would not eat.
She don't want to go eat nothing else.
No, yes. Like, what? It's time consuming. You gotta find a restaurant, go to the restaurant, sit down and eat the food. Like at that time,
but I look forward to all of that and the drinks, so I be feeling like the process is okay.
So wait, what have y'all eaten here that's good to y'all?
I mean, when we
Catch LA. Shout out to Catch LA.
I never been yet.
So shout out to Catch LA because that was actually delicious.
It was really good, and Chef treated us really well.
Yeah, I heard it's really compliments of Chef John. Shout out to him too. Yeah,
shout out to Chef.
He did us well. He gave us appetizers and desserts.
It's really pretty.
I heard that it's like flowers, and I love flowers, or it's like flowers.
I mean, for me, that whole thing is like. It needs to be an experience for me to want to go out to eat. Like, I need it to be the whole shebang. Like, I want to go to 5 stars, But, like, yeah, in real life, when I finally get the money that I need, it's a chef all day. Like, food is too time consuming. It takes too much. I have better things to do with my time than to
I don't even think I need a 5-star experience because I be feeling like some of the best food is the hole in the wall spot.
And that's what I can tell you from living in Miami. I learned that. Authentic food. I'm talking about you get Jamaican food from a Jamaican mom and pop. You go back there, it's a Jamaican grandma back there.
And I had some horrible Jamaican.
Me too, in DC.
Yes, we have horrible Jamaican food. I hate it.
But no, I'm not saying like I enjoy eating food, but I'm saying like the whole process to it, it's a chore for me. Like I would rather not.
I get it.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Look, we just go leave that there.
Cause I feel like that's important. You got gotta eat every day, so I need to stay somewhere.
And that's
where
why
the
I do
food
it.
is good.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. So what are the other ups of LA? Like, what do you actually
The ups
like
of
about
LA,
being here?
I like the fucking sights. It is beautiful. It's much different than like I love Miami when I was living there, but it's much different. Like the hills and it's just a different sight to fucking see. Like I love how beautiful it is. I love. In some aspects, the weather. What I do hate about the weather is no matter what season it is, it's cold at night.
Yeah.
It's motherfucking cold at night. But other than that, when the world is in turmoil, we have sunshine. So I fuck with that.
I don't know, like, for me, I feel like LA is a foreign place. Like, it's not within the United States. Like, I feel like you get a different vibe when you come to LA. Like, you don't get the fast-paced Miami, like, to the point to where everybody is busy. It's club, this and that.
Yeah.
It's not the New York, like, busy city. It's not the DC. It's like everybody is like happy. You walk around, you see people smiling, people in their own zone. Like everybody like chill.
Yeah.
It's more of like a
Everybody doing chill
zen,
shit.
you know,
Yeah.
versus like all of these other places I go. And then I think it's very cultural. And then all of the sights is just beautiful. Like I don't know.
I guess what I'm thinking is cultural is, you know, more
Black
like
people.
urban. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get where the fish spot at, where the chicken spot at.
I mean, they here. You just
Where
gotta
the
be willing
strip
to get
club
the shot.
with the chicken wings.
No, I get it.
The
So
strip club with the lamb
Ain't
chops.
none bit.
that part.
Detroit.
That's it.
Take me to the crib.
Take me to the crib.
Okay, so let's get into the story, like, because I think that when we talked a couple of months ago, you were actually, well, a couple years ago now, you were actually talking about the transition and leaving, and you know, just hearing that you're excited about the sites. I feel like it just goes hand in hand with your brand and your personality. So I feel like LA was perfect for you. But how did we get here?
I got here. Okay, so it was kind of a fucked up thing. Like I had to be on my hands and knees and really fast and pray and figure out what the fuck to do next. Because when I was in Miami, I wasn't really progressing professionally, and that was a big thing for me. I'm very smart. I have 2 degrees, health administration, nonprofit leadership and management. Very smart. I was getting into side things that allowed me to tap into my passion. So, for example, I started working with Our Periods Matter, doing the pack parties.
Yeah.
Working with that nonprofit organization, doing that, and then I started blogging, and then doing the media correspondent and stuff, and I fell in love with that. That took off for me, and it was very inconsistent in Miami though. So y'all know, like, shit be seasonal when it come to Miami. Like sometimes the Super Bowl might be there, but you know, it's certain shit that be there every year, but it's not enough to maintain content and be consistent with like media shit. And it's like I wasn't at the point where like I was working at Spirit Airlines, but shit, they wasn't paying me enough to even really travel for
But
real.
did you get? I was about to say, did you get the travel benefits?
I could go wherever I wanted to go, but it's like if you ain't got no money to go do what you need to do right there, then what the fuck?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
fair.
yeah, so I fell in love with you know, helping people and doing nonprofit consulting and dipping into that, and then doing the media shit, but professionally, like everything that I was doing was free.
But
I think we're gonna pause right there because free work. I know about it. But go ahead.
And it was just to a point where I didn't have my own space anymore. I had to move back in with my dad, and it was just like God was tugging me to make a change, and I didn't really know what it was. I ended up somebody that I was close with, you know, was living here and everything. Like, just maybe you come out here. That media shit is popping out here. All the red carpets are out here.
Yeah, because when you think about being a media personality or correspondent,
Hollywood,
you do think about Hollywood. Like, like everybody here that I need, like, no matter the industry, like, I can tap into something.
I felt comfortable in Miami because I knew people there. I was getting, my network was expanding a lot more.
Yeah.
I had
but you still have that network.
It's different though because when I was doing it then, I was doing it for the Pretty Hustlers. This brand is already built. There's already resources. There's already tools. All I have to do is go and give the content. You know what I'm saying? Of course I'm going to edit it, create it, cut it, whatever. But when I'm doing it on my own, like now, I don't know how to get these press passes. I don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? Like when I first moved here, I did 2 red carpets and I didn't submit. So I knew it was God confirming that this is where you're supposed to be. I didn't submit for anything. I just received emails like, oh, there's a movie premiere. Can you I was like,
that's
alignment.
But God,
that was alignment.
And so to go back on that, like, what does that whole fasting process look like for you when you were like, I gotta hear from God to know that it's time for me to move to LA?
So for the whole fasting for me, I fasted for 15 days because me and my friend had been talking about it for like a month. She like, you miserable out there, bro. I got you. Just come out here as soon as you get on your feet, bro. You do whatever you want to do, whatever. But I didn't want to leave Miami. I was so comfortable, but it was something in me that was like, you need to really think about this. So as far as fasting, I would wake up every morning before work. I would work at 5, so I would wake up at 3. I would pray. I would meditate. I would drink my tea, I would journal, and I would just ask God, like, what is happening? Like,
I think those are the best moments, though, when you decide to be still and be quiet. I mean, it's nerve-wracking.
And I felt like it was crazy. Like, when me and my friend had a conversation, she was like, I'm going to give you to this day to get it together. And I'm like, is this God kind of telling me, like, okay, take some silence right now and stop? Because I kept asking for like 2 or 3 months. I was going back and forth, asking my mama, asking my dad, should I move? Y'all think I should move? Instead of asking him and consulting with him, and once I decided to go ahead and do that, I got a word. Like, I believe I was reading like a devotional or something. It was just saying, like, maybe.
Girl, you always reading devotionals.
I know.
I promise you share devotional every morning.
I love devotionals. Listen, they keep centered, okay?
Yeah.
I was reading a devotional. It was saying like where I can't remember what book it was or what person from the Bible it was. Don't judge me, y'all. But he fasted for 14 days by just getting up in the morning and praying and meditating, and then before he went to bed at night praying and meditating. So I did that for 15 days, and pretty much all the signs that I got pretty much said to get up and go.
Right. So you just
and I'm like, I was confused because I'm like, God, nothing makes sense.
Right.
He like, it does make sense. You're gonna have a place to stay. I ended up having a job kind of lined up, and
everything started
falling into place.
So how long have you been here now?
I've been here since 2019, so 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, and I can understand how difficult that could be in media in a pandemic, because what does this even look like? What kind of events, what type of shows are going on?
I have been in a fucking whirlwind trying to come up with creative ideas on how I can correspond virtual events.
Right. So it's just interesting, not to cut you off, interesting that you said that, because you originally talked about like, being so smart and having all these degrees and coming to LA for different opportunities in that way, but it sounds like you're really trying to thrive in the entrepreneurship lane.
I am.
So did it really necessarily matter about this job, or was that what you thought was your security?
Maybe that is what my security was, but in reality, I knew that for what I want to do, I'm going to have a nonprofit, and it's going to circulate around, providing preventative healthcare services for people in urban and rural communities. I want to make these connections in these hospitals and just learn as much as I can, because I know I have to work while I build this. You know what I'm saying? It's just reality. So it's just like, if I'm going to work, I want it to be in some type of purpose where it's going to benefit me. Me working at Spirit Airlines ain't benefiting me, besides if I want to get on a motherfucking plane and go spend some little money real quick. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't. So it's just like, now when I moved here, I work at a very prestigious hospital now. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when I got here, everything fell in place. I got those 2 red carpets. I was working at a job that I hated for like a year, a law firm. I pushed that shit out though. It had its benefits because it was right across the street from the mall. When I get mad, I'm going to the mall. Because I have to get a frat pay. So you know what I'm saying? Little benefits, like I could get up pretty much and go and come when I felt like it. So I wasn't making a lot of money, but it was enough to get me here and allow me that.
Okay. So tell us more about the Newsstand, because I feel like that's where you're like centering yourself, and coming here was the way for you to just like segue into that brand. So what is the Newsstand?
Positivity.
Period. So the Newsstand is a positive online community that is focused on helping women glow up mentally, physically, and spiritually, and creating and maintaining a positive and healthy lifestyle. So that's what it's about. And for me, when I moved away from home, from Michigan after college, 2017, and I was isolated from everybody, it made me realize how I was wondering why nothing was going right, but I realized like nothing's going right because you're focused on everything wrong. Everything negative, everything that you don't want to happen, that's what you're focusing on. And you're creating this.
I'm happy that you said that, because I was trying to explain to one of my friends, it's like the spiritual realm don't work like that. You can say, I don't want to be like my mother, and that's what you manifesting. Like, just because you're putting that out there,
you're focused so much on what you don't want
to be, that you become that very thing that you're escaping from.
And that's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, like you really have to speak positively. Like you cannot speak anything negative over your life.
And not even just speak it. I feel like with my brand, what I want to go dive deeper beyond the surface of positivity and self-love and self-care, because I feel like what's online is like so surface level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for one, being a positive person doesn't mean that you're not gonna have negative moments or have bad times. It does not mean that. You know what I'm saying? People be like, oh, you just gotta think positive, everything gonna be okay. That's toxic positivity to me, because in reality, you have to give yourself time to feel, and that's okay. But being a positive person and positivity is all about understanding and knowing that on the other side of that, it's gonna be better, it's gonna work out for my good, and believing that. And it's like, aside from saying things, you have to begin to believe it, and that's where the manifestation begins. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's something that I just love about your brand, because I think you are very transparent. And so, like, you know, recently even we've been following you, like, oh, look at Charmaine, like, oh, she doing this now, she doing that now. And so recently you made this post about, you know, giving up, what we gonna call it, ganja, weed,
what,
cannabis
about giving up cannabis. And not to be funny, but you know, you are the cannabis advocate. So like, you know, what is that about?
Okay, so for me, it's what I'm realizing is,
and you're in LA, side note. I feel like everybody smoke. Go ahead.
It gets delivered to you, dropped off, all that. But for me, I'm realizing that too much of anything will fuck you up. And I feel like my discipline with it is not where it needs to be for me to be. For me to get to where I want to go, for me to be building my brand, I need to spend less time high and lazy and more time productive. And that's just some real shit.
But that part, too much of anything can be harmful. And that doesn't mean
that means you need
food,
people, social media, people, audio books,
sex.
I said, you heard me say sex? Like, too much of sex could be
self-help books.
Too much of anything can be harmful. Like, you really have to, and I feel like that goes to say, because if you have too much of anything, you're losing yourself. You've stopped putting time in for yourself.
And if you're a spiritual person as well, you're not giving enough reference, you know, or reverence to that thing, or, you know,
to God.
But what was that? So what was this conviction moment for you? Because I think for me, it's kind of like, I know you to be the smoker, and ain't nothing wrong with that, you know. But like, what made you feel convicted to be like, you know what, I need to stop this. Like, this is something I need to slow down.
I need to slow down. Okay, so for me, it was like, I went through a mental period where I had a lot of shit come to the forefront, like shit that I didn't really want to accept about myself. And I realized that was why I've been smoking my problems away. I've been suppressing my feelings. Like, I'm in therapy now. So she kind of brought it to my attention, as well as the relationship that I'm in right now. My man, he, you know, like different situations that we that we talk through and have gone through, and things that I've had to accept about myself. I realized that's why I haven't fixed it so far, is because I've been suppressing my feelings and my thoughts with weed. Like, when some shit happen, as soon as I'm mad, roll that shit up.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm about to celebrate, hey, roll that shit up. You know, it's not okay. So
it's tied to all of your emotions.
Yeah. And then, you know, it can be a depressant or a stimulant. And depending on where your mood is, where your emotions are, it looks differently. And I think kind of like, even, you know, being a psychology student, a lot of times we have not normalized that smoking marijuana every single day is an addiction. You know, we're quick to say like, oh, that's a crackhead, that's a this, that's a that. But what about the person who actually smokes marijuana every single day? You know, it is an addiction, but it is kind of normalized because it's getting to the point to where it's legalized. But what does this mean, you know, when I'm trying to cope and get to the next level in my life, and I have all of these emotions and feelings in my subconscious that I haven't processed?
I feel like if you are dependent on weed to suppress your emotions, then you got problems. Because for me, it's like, now what I'm learning is like, you gotta feel your way through the shit. You cannot just numb the pain.
I think that's, so I'm not even a smoker, but the idea of feeling things, you know, I run from that too. Hard. So I can only imagine how you feel like, you know, smoking is a coping mechanism, because I'm not a smoker, but I run from feelings.
Example, how some shit piss me off, make me mad, make me sad. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna smoke, because I know I'm gonna smoke. I'm gonna find something funny on TV, and I'm gonna laugh, and that's it. But that's not a good thing, because it's like, you need to take time, feel how you feel, cry, get it out, whatever, journal it out, whatever, pray, whatever. And then once you let it go, that's when you go to smoke and release, because you're relaxing and you know what I'm saying? You're not dependent on this to change your mood or your mind. but you just want to relax now.
Or even, you know, let this be a lesson in feel whatever you need to feel, but you can't stay there.
Yeah,
right?
you can't.
So whatever it is that you need to feel it in that moment. Ask yourself, why are you feeling that type of way? You know, and what are the feelings attached to this, and how can you move forward? Because sometimes we don't have control over any of the stuff that we feel some type of way about.
Right.
And what do you do with those feelings when you don't have any type of control? And when you do have the control, you know what? You figure it out. You figure out what, you know, what works for you, what makes it okay. If it's having that hard, difficult conversation that you need to have, because a lot of it, when it has something to do with somebody else, it's a difficult conversation that needs to be
you
had.
don't want to hurt somebody's
that
feelings.
you don't want to
That's
hurt
the
somebody.
relationship.
You be like,
me too.
So you suppress it, be like, I'm
gonna just push it back.
She know that, like, I am very, like, what's the word, non-confrontational. I do not like that. So I will avoid you at all costs and everything. All the feelings, all the emotions. You won't talk, I won't talk.
But I think the word confrontation, right? With you saying confrontation, that everybody just feel like people is confrontational, but some people are just direct or have good communication skills. Like, I think in a black family,
that's gonna be
we've
those
just
are the things
been
that I am manifesting for my life.
Same
manifesting. I think in black families, we've been taught that we can't have these emotions, we can't have these feelings, we can't have these opinions. You know, to say what it is that we want to say. And my mom wasn't like that. I could pretty much say whatever I wanted to say, but until it made her mad enough, I could get out pretty much whatever I wanted to say, and then she was like, okay, you need to bring it back down. But so people would say, like, I'm confrontational, but it's not confrontational. I just have to stop, and I'm like, you know what? That really bothered me. That hurt my feelings. That did this. And really identify the emotion attached to it. And when I come to you, I can be like, Crystal, when you said such and such, that hurt my feelings.
Right.
And then if she be like, why? I can tell you why you hurt my feelings and what emotion that you've attached to that. But sometimes you have to really stop and think, you know. And it's easier to just go smoke a blunt than to be like, you know what, I got to have this conversation
for real
and not know
much
what
easier.
this person feel like.
I mean, it's a shame with somebody who says, you know, smoking a blunt or taking a shot or whatever it is that you use to cope with it.
Yeah, definitely alcohol. Because people are like, oh, I had a hard day at work. Let me go take a drink. You know?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like the norm. I'm about to go have a drink. I had a hard day at work.
Like, turn up weekend every day.
And I know,
going
like,
up on a Tuesday.
For real, though. No, but for real.
And I'm more of a, because I don't, you know, I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking. I'm more of a sleep person. If something happened, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to sleep. Like, I can't deal with life right now. I'm going to sleep, right? But when I wake up, I still got to deal with whatever just happened.
When you come off your high, when your high come down, you still got to deal with how you felt. Or when you not drunk no more, you got to deal with how you felt. And I feel like what's crazy is a lot of the things that we beat ourselves up over, the thoughts that we have in our heads about ourselves and our situations is not true. Stop and ask yourself, bitch, is that true?
No, I think, okay, so that's definitely me. Like, you can create a whole storyline in your head based on something that, like, what? And then you later be like, you know you made that up, right? Like, nobody told you that, but you came up with that on your own, all by yourself.
I listen to a podcast. I love this podcast, Taking to Me, the Blessing Buster podcast. If y'all ain't never listened to that podcast, listen, she was talking about God and like your relationship with God and how it's different for everybody. And she was just like, you know, I used to think that I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning and talk in tongues, and she like, God came down and told me, like, girl, who told you that?
Yes.
Who told you that that's how it had to be? Nobody told you that you made that up. Like, so it's like, I feel like one of the things that I always go back to when I be in the moment is like, bitch, is it true? Is that true about you? When I'm beating myself up about, I have to think like, okay, bitch, is it true?
Okay, so I like that. So I'm gonna challenge y'all. So, like, what is a thought or something that you feel like you've told yourself about yourself that you realize that you was literally making it up? For real.
Listen, I did on my self-love series the first week. I didn't even do the video today yet, but this last week I've told them to do a journal thing, like, because most of the shit that we hate about ourselves and being demised and just so pissed off about ourselves, whether it be physically, spiritually, or mentally, whether we don't like the way we look our roles or the way we think, or, you know, the way we act, whatever it is, most of the time the reason why we feel that way is not even fucking true, or it comes from like some type of comparison. And right now we're in this age of social media where you can compare yourself to all this surgery and shit. Sis, that ain't real.
Definitely.
It ain't realistic and it ain't real. So you can't. I be like, shit, I'm about to go get lipo in a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I have to realize, like, okay, Charmaine, you're not even what you stand for. What you stand for is like work out, eat healthy, and have a healthy lifestyle. So what are you talking about? You want to get lipo because you compare yourself to these Instagram bitches? Please. Stop it. Okay, I be having to check myself, like, and I feel like this is shit that people don't talk about. That's why I fuck with my platform, because I like to talk about my flaws and be transparent about things that people don't want to talk about they dealing with. And I had to realize that, like, I feel like my shit growing so slow, but it's like my shit is nobody gonna want to like that, because nobody gonna want to be like, I relate to that. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Certain shit, like, nobody want to be like, damn, I don't want to say like that, because that's my mindset.
When they slide in your DMs and they tell you everything, like, oh my god, that really resonated with me because of X, Y, and Z. But those keep you going.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, I've told myself that I haven't been worthy of some of the blessings God gave me.
Oh, girl.
And that's one of the things I've been trying to talk myself out. Like, I wouldn't say like I'm just like a sinner, but of course we're all perfect. I mean, we're not perfect, and we fall short of His glory. But sometimes I just be like, dang God, did I really deserve this? Yeah. And so one of the things that I'm working towards is seeing myself as worthy of everything that comes my way, everything that flows in my direction, all of the money that comes, the money, the blessings, the wealth, the connections, like everything that comes my way, I am worthy of it. And I think a part of everything coming my way is a part of me seeing myself as worthy of getting those things.
Listen,
I think that's mine too, though. Thank you. Like, you said that for me, because I feel like even in my newfound dating life, like, that I'm worthy thing, like, dating for me has been different on a whole nother level. Like, I think I'm doing luxury dating now. Anyway, I like it. No, it's like luxury lifestyle, but I think it just goes back to what you said. Like, you got to tell yourself, like, yo, like, I am worthy of this. Maybe I wasn't used to it before, but
and just because you've never been exposed to something.
And I've struggled so much in my current relationship, because you know the type of shit that we've seen as relationship.
Right.
So it being so perfect has been traumatic at times.
Yeah, but that's how I
like struggling like with like really deserved do I deserve
or is this too
like,
good to
because it feels good and then you later want to
but that's foreign
but
to
then you
you
find yourself trying to self-sabotage and you be like, I gotta check that. Listen, like, this ain't that.
Listen, no, for real. Listen.
Like, don't go through no phones. Don't do none of that.
Don't go through no phones. Don't do no pull-ups.
Don't go looking for nobody. Don't do no pull-ups.
Listen. That's something that I literally am working through right now. Like, girl, you deserve every fucking good thing. That good man, the good treatment that you get with it. Like, you deserve it, and it's not too good to be true, because you deserve it. Like, I've been struck. Like, I've tried to self-sabotage the relationship a couple times.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, because it's those conflicting thoughts and these views in your head, like, I never saw my mama in a real relationship, I never did this, I never did that. And so to not even see like a marriage that like that's an authentic love that really works, I want that marriage for you to really be able to have like somebody that you like. That's a good example. So when it starts feeling too good, you like, what is this? What is going on?
Where the fans at?
And so not even that you gotta like tie it to like outside sources. If you haven't experienced it for yourself, period, it's just kind of like, nobody treated me this way. Like,
it's foreign to you, so you question it.
Yeah, definitely.
And even like as far as like luxury shit like that, y'all know where we come from. We had fucking 6 stores in the mall, bitch. JCPenney's. We was wearing whatever was in Man Alive. Yeah. We wasn't having no like people in Detroit was wearing like Gucci and all of that shit in high school, and Victoria. We didn't even know Victoria's Secret panties. We wasn't on none of that shit yet.
I didn't know what none of that was. I remember when I went to college and everybody had was shopping at Nordstrom and had Michael Kors. I was like, what the hell is this?
Like, where's these what are these? What are these?
See, my experience was different. I was on Michael Kors, all of that, but when I went to Michigan was a whole Canada Goose. You going to the Louis store, you going to all of this. That it was a whole different type of luxury. Yeah. So mine more so isn't necessarily like, I feel like luxury lifestyle, that's me. That's my life. Like,
I had to learn. I had to learn like I'm worthy of it and I can afford it.
I'm in the middle of it.
Like the little couple things that I got, I'll be in there like, shit, I can get about 6 purses for this. But it's like, it's not gonna hurt you. You put yourself in this position to have a little bit. It ain't nothing wrong with it. It's just like, for me, it's just like, knowing that you deserve it, but keeping your priorities in place to where you're not fucking up the money to have
but
it.
see, I don't struggle with that from men. I don't struggle with that part.
Yeah.
Like mine is more so of like my personal relationship with just me and God. When it's just me and God in a room by ourselves, and I'm just talking to him, telling him everything that I literally want.
Yeah.
Like it was one point in my life when I would pray and I would never ask God for anything. Because I never, at first it was, I never wanted to be disappointed with God if he did not give me exactly what I asked for. And then it moved to me being like, you know what? I'm so thankful for everything that he has given me, because my life has turned out much better than what I thought it would be. Not even much better, but some of the things I thought I wanted, I ain't really want. But, and so I wouldn't ask for nothing. Like I would just always go to God in Thanksgiving, like, thank you for this, you know. I would pray for everybody else, pray for my family. Anybody could come and say they want me to pray, and I'm going for them. But I could never go to war for me because I felt unworthy of asking him for anything else, as though I already had enough. Yeah. So when it's me and God now,
so you put limits on him.
Not even limits. I feel like he can perform all his miracles, and that he could have like total control. And it was more so because I didn't want to be disappointed. And now I be like, God, you know what?
No, something super simple. Be like, you know, I need that parking spot right there at the grocery store because it's raining and I didn't feel it. Didn't the rain stop? Like
like that type of thing. And so like really just asking, and if it is material, if it is whatever it is, you know, I actually ask God for it, because people will try to make you seem like you crazy or that you materialistic because
you want nice shit.
Because you want nice stuff.
And they don't be on them. And really what I learned is I used to hang around people that used to try to make it seem like I was a bad person or materialistic because I wanted that stuff. I'm like, I feel like I just like that. I want expensive stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And they make it seem like, but you can spend your money on this and spend your money on that. And I learned, like, you just mad because I even want it for myself, and you can't bring yourself to yourself to see yourself in this YSL.
That's what it is. But no, it was good that you recognized that, because I think that even like in our like best friend relationship, like she said, she's full on luxury, and I'm just now learning it. But I was never gonna be like, why did you buy that? I'd be like, oh, that's cute. How much? Like,
but I think that's the difference though. Like Crystal will go to a restaurant and Crystal will spend $500 at a restaurant.
I love food.
I'm not spending that much money on food. Like y'all already heard earlier, I don't even like to eat. So you talking about $500? It better be your birthday, and I'm gonna treat you, and that's it. We not going for the rest of the year.
That's it, bitch. And that's over the rest of these 12 months.
But no, she right, because like, it was one point in our seasons we was eating out all the time, and she had to be like, look, we're not going anymore. I want to go to all the 5 stars, and she like, no.
And as much as like I love the getting dressed, like going in there, you know, I love steak since we've been a kid. So I get it, y'all. Like I love it, but at a certain point, I had to calm down too, and I'm like, you know what? I go and buy me a Gucci purse. I go and buy me a Louis purse. So what's wrong with her going to spend her money on some food?
It's all preference.
If that's what I want.
It's preference.
It's preference.
I love that. So basically, I feel like it's like letting people. What are we normalizing here? What
luxury for black girls, and what luxury looks like for everybody else is different. Like it is not the same for everybody.
And luxury don't have to be material shit. Like for me, like when I was posting content around my birthday, I was saying I'm manifesting this year is going to be the year of luxury, and it didn't just mean me getting the foreign car and getting the little designer bags and luxury shit like that. Treatment. It meant for me like taking care of myself, doing my Yanni's things, getting facials more often, getting my vajations, taking care of my body, getting massages, you know what I'm saying, getting shit that's gonna benefit me mentally, physically, getting into my morning routine, spending more time with God, like having that time. You know what I'm saying, is a luxury. It's not
time is a luxury. So even
creating good environments,
like
for real, creating positive environments and making my home my sacred space. That's a luxury. It ain't got shit to do with money.
No, that's definitely a luxury.
Changing my mind so that I can get past these blockages and get the next level to my next level of luxury, nigga. I ain't top floor, top tier shit. Really,
I love it. I think that's like a perfect point to end this show. But before we end it, what would be your words of advice for someone that might be in like a dark place right now? Because I think you speak to it a lot on your platforms to people who are in dark areas, and you talk about overcoming it. So like, what would you say to them? For
me, if you are in a dark space and you feel, especially if you're in a dark place and you feel alone, God is asking for your attention. God is trying to bring something to your attention. He wants to talk to you. He wants you to recognize where your mind is wrong at and to get you to understand that you cannot be conforming to this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But be transformed by the renewal of your mind. You have to, it's probably time for you to think about what you're thinking about.
Yeah. And I would say, like, you know, sometimes we are always looking for the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And most times we have to be the light in the tunnel. Like, you have to, you know, dig yourself out of a dark spot. And sometimes that looks like going to therapy or literally asking somebody for help, telling somebody what is wrong with you, and really seeking out those resources in that moment. And it is hard. Like, who wants to tell somebody, like, oh, I'm depressed?
Even if you don't go that far, just understanding that it's important to get your emotions out. So you need to start journaling. Making prayer a priority, because God is the perfect person to vent to. He ain't gonna tell nobody. Okay.
Definitely keep it secret.
You know, journal, like really tap into meditation and start spending time with yourself, because
Headspace is a good app.
Headspace, I'm talking about YouTube. There is free meditation apps. I've been working on getting all of my chakras balanced, starting from the root to the head chakra area. It's free meditating, praying, journaling, and understand that you got just taking an inventory of, okay, what have I been thinking about? And how has it led me here? And once you get into that, it's gonna open up the door to why you're thinking this way, and you'll be able to go back and, all right, let me fix my perspective.
I love it. Thank you so much. Oh, this is gonna be so cute.